Sony. Hey, my Sony games. I got so many games. All these games. Games. Not gonna make physical discs anymore. Like this stuff, these just poop. No more. You don't get them. You don't get them. You're not allowed them. Sony says no, we're not gonna make them anymore. So you will own nothing, and you'll be happy about it. That's Sony. That's what Sony thinks. They're like, you're gonna own nothing, but you know what? You have purchased the right to rent a license to play the game, and we will keep it for you as long as the servers are running, or we decide that we're just going to delist this title quietly so you don't even really notice it until you go to play, I don't know, Madden 09. Can you see that? Sorry, there. Madden 09 for PS2. May or may not be there. I know a lot of the sports games seem to be delisted, so you may or may not find the game that you're looking for at the PlayStation Store. But the worst thing is if you bought that game and you can't play it because it's delisted, you didn't really buy it. You rented it until Sony said, oh, time's up, delisting, or there's music on the game that is no longer part of Sony's license, so they have to take their game off. They have to delist it, so that means you lose it. You lose the game because there was a song in it that Sony doesn't want to pay for anymore. And that, my friends, is the future of DVDs, movies, probably any type of physical media, music. I mean, everybody's streaming everything, right? So I have all these games. These were just the ones that I could find in the nearest box, like lots of sports games. What do we have? I want to know whether or not the Sony PlayStation still has these games. These are PS2 games. The last console that I bought was a PS4. We had it for, 6 months, and then we got like that dreaded red dot, the deadly red dot. They have a special word for it, but you load it up and it just gives you this like red circle. And I've been wanting to fix it for a long time, but we moved shortly after that. Everything's in storage, so I haven't had a chance to try to jailbreak, fix, whatever it's going to take to maybe be able to use the PS4. And I don't even know if it's going to be worth it. My PS3, I'm not even sure where I got this. Maybe an ex-boyfriend or something. I have a PS3 that is like an earlier model, and it plays PS3, PS2, and PS1 games. Like, the best console, because it plays the back catalog, and I have a ton of games in the back catalog. So, when I had my PS3, I was on the PlayStation Store, and I saw they had Escape from Monkey Island, but it was like the special edition of it, and I love all of the Monkey Island games. Shout out to Escape from Monkey Island, Return to Monkey Island, all the different Monkey Island games. I haven't played the newest one, but I'm looking forward to when I do. I just hope it's not a PlayStation exclusive. I haven't checked Steam to see whether or not they have it, but I have a Steam account. Not very many games on it. Because I was like, do I own my games on Steam? I don't know. And then, one more game in the PlayStation Store was Day of the Tentacle, which is not a point and click per se. I mean, I guess it kind of is, but it's the sequel to Maniac Mansion. I always wanted that when I was a little kid. Day of the Tentacle was only on PC, and my dad wasn't getting that for me. It was too expensive. So it was either Chip 'n Dale Rescue Ranger game or it was Day of the Tentacle. I chose Chip 'n Dale because I want to be able to play with my brother. So anyway, those are my two games on the PS3 store, and they're going to close that shit down. I'm not even sure if I could somehow log into my old PS3 account and somehow like transfer it. I don't even know if I have an account anymore, if they're closing down the PS3 store. I guess I could try to find out, because I think there might be a way for you to like transfer it over to, but I'm not going to use PlayStation, guys. That's the problem. I'm not going to use it anymore because I hate Sony. I can't believe what Sony's doing. I'm so angry about this because Sony, like what, 2013, 12, 13 years ago, Sony was the one fighting back for the consumer. Xbox was going more digital, more exclusive. I mean, I would say both companies are probably headed in that direction. I think that Xbox was sort of taking after like what PlayStation was doing right after the PS3. And the console wars are real, man. You took a side. And of course, I took the PlayStation side. I had a PS3. I loved that machine. I loved it. I could play so many games with it. And so I was a PlayStation girl all the way, and I never, ever owned an Xbox, but I was passionate about it, so I was definitely on the PlayStation side of the wars. We would like butt heads with the Xbox people. I think if you liked sports, you probably picked Xbox, but I like a variety of games. Sports games, not really my thing, even though like all of these are sports games. I think the only one is, oh, we got Crazy Taxi. That's not a sports game. And then we have I know I have another one. Oh, we got Call of Duty 3. Here we go. I'm wondering if the PlayStation Store has this. I'm not, how do you even pronounce this? It's a Dance Dance Revolution. It looks like it's DDR Max or DOR Max, Dormax, Max. I don't know, but that's what it looks like. And I wonder if the PlayStation Store still has this, because you need the Dance Dance Revolution mat to play these, don't you? I've got a Rock Band thing for PS3 somewhere. I think it was compatible with the PS4, but like I said, the PS4 did not last very long. Do I hate that as much as I hate Sony for what they're doing? I don't know. Probably hate Sony more because of just this is what happened with Sony. Everybody, like when this announcement came out that they weren't going to be making physical games anymore, this announcement came out and people were angry. Oh wow, were they ever angry? I was angry too. I don't know if I was angry and shocked or shocked and then angry. Probably 50-50. And it's the end of an era, you know, so you're sad too. You're like, oh my God, I'm old, I guess, if I'm fighting for physical media, because the youngins don't seem to care that they don't actually own their digital games and they just like make fun of us, which really surprised me. So you had all the people that were upset with Sony and they inundated Sony with very angry, very negative messages, comments to Sony's X post about not making physical media anymore. There was hardly anything positive in them. It was all people fighting back saying, I buy physical discs. I don't know what you're talking about. Actually, I buy both. I buy a digital one in the store. And if I really like it, then I buy the physical copy. Sony doesn't care. You know, they don't care if you bought the game twice. They don't care about that customer. Were you on their side in the console wars? Did you fight because they were like, this is how you share a game? There you go. That was their whole, that's how they won the console wars. Okay. It's just, we have the game, you just hand it to your friend, boom, it's done. Now, I'm kind of like, I'm not sure if that's even true, because with the PS4, even with the PS3, you have to constantly be updating them. So if they're connected to the server and you're updating, can Sony make it so I can't play my old games because they send me an update that like blocks that out? I do think they have the power to do that. I think that was Asmongold's whole point, is like, you could fight for your physical media, but you might not even be able to play your physical media. Like, they're giving you half the game on a disc, and it's not even complete. Like, they fix things by putting in like patches to fix bugs and glitches. Now, I remember the days of these fun bugs and glitches that you would just randomly find. And when you look back at those games, especially N64 games, that was my brother's console, so many glitches. But I have this nostalgia for these glitches. I want to play Tony Hawk and sink through the floor, and my little head's like this, and my skateboard's flying out here, and I'm trapped in the concrete. There were so many funny things, and you could glitch through walls and things like that. But now these patches make it so the creators of these games, the devs, they are lazy. They don't even, I don't even know what their quality control is like, because they almost like they release the game good enough, right? And then they have the streamers play it, and then like right after the streamers play it, they figure out all the problems with the game. So they don't have to pay quality control. They don't have to pay any of the people to actually play the game and find these problems. They rely on streamers like Asmongold, Grand Pooh Bear. I'm trying to think of all the different people that play, but Asmongold will probably be one of the biggest game streamers. And he'll tell like with Crimson Desert, it came out and there were a lot of problems with it. There were problems with the gameplay itself. There were problems with the inventory. Like, you could hardly hold anything. You had to go way wherever, put something in a box. They fixed that because of complaints. They should have fixed it before then. You should have had a complete game. But with Crimson Desert, they did something very interesting, which was they gave you you got the physical copy of it, but there was a code that was put into the disc that made it so you couldn't play it until the actual release date. So you got it early, but you couldn't play it until the release date, which means the whole entire game is not on the disc. And if you want to play it, like, have a good time playing it, you have to go online. You're going to have to download these different patches. And it's so frustrating, you know? Like, on the one hand, I love the idea of having these, like, quirky little glitches because they really make it so, like, that game has a personality. But on the other hand, if it makes it so the game is unplayable, I guess you're going to go online and download the patch, right? Because you bought the game or you rented the license for the game so you can play it. And it's I'm sorry, this is like one of the things that really, really bugs me, because it's like PlayStation especially is going towards live service games, multiplayers, which I hate, hate multiplayers. The pressure that's on me when I mean, it's almost like in real life. If I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of people, I feel uncomfortable, to say the least. You know, sometimes you can handle a lot of people, especially if you know them. But if I am wandering around in, I don't know, Elden Rings, or I don't really play these games, so I don't even know. Fortnite, right? Surrounded by all these random people. World of Warcraft, surrounded by all these random people. It's like I get some form of agoraphobia. Is that the one where you don't want to leave the house? You don't want to associate with people. I can be very extroverted, and then times like that I can be very introverted. So I don't know any of these gamers. I don't want any pressure to help with raids or do anything. I don't even like them around me while I do my thing. So I am not a fan of live service games. I am not a fan of multiplayers. I like single player games, but that is not where Sony is headed. Sony wants live service, downloaded content that you get from exclusives that they release for whatever. You know, like I said, the Grand Theft Auto comes with, if you buy the premium edition with all the downloadable content, and then you can go to stores that are blocked off. There's characters that you can get if you get it early and pay for the premium $100 one. There's just different exclusive things, but that to me is not worth an extra $20, let alone the fact that I don't own this game. Do I own the downloaded content that I added to it? Do I own any of it? No, you don't own any of it. So all that exclusive crap that you bought, your skins, your extra your surprise hidden players, and none of that matters, guys. None of it matters, because it's not real. It's not tangible. You know what's tangible? This shit. This is tangible, okay? I own these. I don't have to worry about Sony taking them away. Whoops. So my argument is just like, in the X post, so many people were angry, but the people that responded to the angry messages, many of them were Sony fanboys who were just laughing at the boomers and saying, ha ha ha, physical media is dead, old people, what are you talking about? And then we try to explain to them, child, you do not own your game. Doesn't that bother you? And no, it doesn't bother them. They don't care, because they can't think of cause and effect. Great job, school system. I have found this numerous times, that the younger people don't understand cause and effect. They don't understand that later down the road, the game that they bought, they will not have access to when the server shuts down or gets delisted. They don't understand that. So we try to tell them that, and then they just like make fun of us. And then I feel like, what, did Sony pay these guys? I mean, I literally wrote that in some of the responses to them. I'm just like, how much is Sony paying you per post? This is just, are the kids that dumb? They might be. All right, so I'm going to close this up with another thing that Sony did. So Sony did not respond to all of this backlash for days. I think it was like 6 days that we were waiting, so almost a week. And when they did respond, it was to say, hey guys, we released a new wireless fighting stick. It's nothing about physical media, unless you're talking about, the fact that you get a new physical controller that you can play your games on, your digital games, but with a physical controller. So a lot of the comments were, is this controller digital too? Is it digital only? Do I need to download the controller? And my responses were, I bet we cannot use this controller unless you connect to the internet, and it's probably broken when they gave it to you, so you got to download a patch to fix it. Lazy devs again. How much you want to bet? We'll find out. We'll find out with this wireless fight stick. But anyway, that was their message. So again, they got bombarded by people that were like, I can't believe that this was your response to all the backlash, is to tell us to get this new fighting stick that we just released. So tone deaf. Or is Sony so evil that they used this backlash, this sudden burst in visibility, to sell their new wireless fight stick to the Sony ponies, the guys that are still with Sony, even though they're totally screwing over the gamer? Did they do that? The fact that they got so much traffic, so many people looking, we're talking about like 60, maybe even 100 now, I don't know, but tons of people looked at the original post that was about we're not going to make physical media anymore, and that was their response. Their response right after that, 6 days later, was, hey, let us sell you this stick. Since you guys are looking at all this, again, millions of views, and you're all pissed, hey, maybe some of you, the Sony people that play fighting games, you'll want to try our new controller. Which was like a big slap in the face. So if you're a PlayStation person, you might want to think about Steam I don't know. PlayStation, the next gen is going to be digital only, the PS6. And you know what's interesting is the PS5. I don't know if I already added this, but the PS5 disc drive is limited to one per customer, and a lot of times it's sold out. You can't even get it. So the idea that physical media is dead is a lie. Sony is trying to send you that way. It is not about the customers' buying habits. It's about Sony being incredibly greedy.